Hello YouTube, in this video I'm gonna talk to you about what to do when you have lost your way. You know, in your life you have these ups and downs. You might have a really good season of weight loss, or really good season of business, or really good season of writing, or really good season of like any creative thing you're trying to do. You might have a really good season studying, and then something happens and you lose your way. You might be a really religious person and then you lose your way and you start get messed up into something. You might be like a person that has been like rehabilitated from drugs, and then you lose your way and you're back again in the problems you are dealing with. So what you do in the point when you lose your way? Let's assume that our goal over here is that you never would lose your way again. With some things it's really crucial you don't, because it's gonna ruin everything else. For example, with the drugs I talked about, if you lose your way in that again, for example, it could ruin everything else. So you have to understand that with some things it's more critical that you don't lose your way again. For example, with your physical health, with your diet, it's crucial because everything else comes after that. Everything is fueled by the food you eat. Some other thing might not be so important. I'm gonna say that your diet is more important than your studying. If your diet sucks, it's more important to get it like fixed before like studying, you know, because you understand it can mess up all your like effort in something else. So understand this pyramid. Like, how does the human being work? There's the physical side, there's the spiritual side, and there's the doing side of things, what you actually do with your body. Like your work, for example, for me, it's all of this you see, and that's it. You know, it's really simple in a sense that when you lose your way, you try to get back on the trail. For example, in this video, I have subject. What do you do when you lose your way? Well, it's obvious. If what you were doing is important, you come back to it. But when you lose your way, you are gonna see new things. For example, if your way was that you were going to be developing your speaking skills, public speaking skills, and then you get into like business, like you become an entrepreneur for some reason. You learn something over here, and then you come back, you might have something you didn't have before, even though you were like distracted from your main focus. And it's interesting in that way. You can like gain something from something completely different, but you shouldn't aim for this kind of living in general, because it makes your attention divided, and you know that if your attention is divided, it's not really good for like getting things done. The best kind of stuff happens when you have your heart somewhere. You have to have your heart in it, and the funny thing is that you lose your way when you lose your heart. You know, it's simple. You lose your way when you lose your heart. You understand this? That when your heart is no longer in it, you will start like skimming on it, and you're like cutting corners. And what you're doing, the quality is gonna go down, and you can see it. You can see when some YouTuber, for example, or some writer has their heart in it, and you can see when they lose that. And that's normal for human beings. We are not meant to make and do the same thing all our whole life. The whole career thing is kind of like not human in a sense. But you can, the question over here is, well, how do you keep up that like passion for something? Well, there's two ways. You can go really deep into something. You know, you go really deep. You start like refuel the passion for something. You go really deep, like that's the mastery process. Or you might like hop around a bit. Well, try to find something that's related to what you're doing in some way that is gonna like give some new type of ideas. Writing is so interesting in this sense because, you know, writers, like fictional writers and also writers with like non-fiction, it's really interesting. What do they actually do? They deal with everything else but writing. Writing doesn't in itself like exist. It deals with everything else. So it might be beneficial if you like understood some other thing other than writing really deeply. Like imagine writing about writing. Well, you can only go so far, but writing about like a certain type of art movement in the 50s in some specific country, you know, you have to do some research, you know. So that's the point. You might think that I'm losing my way when I go to this, but never explain to yourself like this. Never explain to yourself. Don't do this kind of inner talk. Well, I'm kind of like living my purpose over here, even though I don't feel like it here. You know, you are not really living your purpose. Like if you feel like that. For example, when I make this video, I had like a little inkling that this is not maybe right thing to do at this time. Like I could maybe do something else. When I had this like 1 month period this year when I only focused on writing, I was completely offline. I didn't do any videos, and I felt really good about my writing, you know. Now I've been making more of these videos, and I have noticed that like in the last few weeks and in the last month, like my quality has like gone down really hard. And I felt that I'm kind of like feeling that I don't really know where my heart actually is like at this point. I have done some like singing stuff, you know, while walking and all of that. I have enjoyed that a lot, like writing songs, you know. I felt that kind of like feeling, like I have some heart in this one. But I felt that like with like visual arts, I also at some point like gained that feeling that my heart is no longer in it, you know. And then there are other things, you know, there's a scale. If you're feeling like completely like this is not, I shouldn't be doing this with my life, then it's really detrimental. You know the word detrimental. I should maybe like practice my pronunciation of the word like many times. Detrimental. You know, it's a hard word. Go figure it out, you know, by yourself. But it's really detrimental for your well-being to do something that is completely wrong. Like with this video, it's kind of iffy, you know. There's some feeling that maybe this is not that right thing to do. But I explain it to myself like this. Well, I'm talking English, you know. I'm practicing my English skills and I write in English, so it's kind of like beneficial. And I do these videos and I have this like whole YouTube thing. But you have to understand that don't take anything what you do for granted that it's the right thing that you should be doing. You know, we are human beings. We have only one life. You're gonna die someday. So how you are going to use your life, you know, understand. If you're feeling like maybe this is not the way I should be living, that feeling is a message. It's a message that if you block it and if you don't listen it, it won't guide you where you should be. And all impulses you have are not really like the ones that will guide you where you should actually be. Like that's interesting. Like how do you define that my impulse that this impulse that I have in my psyche is actually like what will lead you in me in a direction that feels completely right? I have felt that kind of feeling in my life, you know, many times. when everything is, when what I'm doing is completely right. It feels like this is my life purpose, you know, like there's something in me that is like I'm built for this, you know. That's what you're going for. And this stuff doesn't exist in the world in like you know, most people have to live in this like inner conflict type of state when they're like, they feel that I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm still doing this. And not any endeavor in itself, the feeling is not in the endeavor. It could be anything. You could be built to like do something that would be completely wrong for me. You can never know about it. For example, I really like wearing the fedora hat, but I don't really know if I would want to be like a manufacturing worker. Like maybe like I could be one who like designed these hats, who was in the visionary states. But maybe I wouldn't want to be the guy that does the packaging. If I would be the guy that does the packaging for the awesome fedora hats, you know, maybe I would feel like kind of iffy that maybe this is not really my like life purpose, you know. So try to go towards what you feel that is right. And if you're young and you feel like you have no idea about these things, well, that's a hard situation, you know. Well, that's a hard situation if you're young and you feel like you have no idea. Well, you understand that I have done a lot of thinking based on this and a lot of like self-observation. Well, one thing you can do is hone your self-observation skill. You cannot really feel about that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. You are supposed to, as a human being, hone your self-observation skill. And what I mean by this is that how does this situation really affect me? How does it make me like feel? And is it the right direction, you know? Really deep stuff about finding your inner guidance system, you know, inner guidance system. Really deep stuff, and you have to understand that only you can do this. I can like map you the territory over here, but only you can do this, and I have no answers for you about this. Like I'm just posing you some really hard questions. Like these are like no. I bet that nobody around you has really thought about this really deeply. When you see somebody that has thought about it, it shows in them, you know. It shows in them. They have found something like valuable as gold or diamonds, you know. Thanks for watching.